Welcome back to my channel. I don't get David Dobrik. I don't get David Dobrik. David Dobrik, call him what you want, YouTuber, vlogger, entrepreneur, the Mr. Rogers of YouTube, or most days he's considered the Ellen of YouTube. Whatever you think of him, he is someone, and I don't think he's going anywhere. He has convinced so many people to watch him and his friends get into crazy, wacky, odd, fucked up scenarios. He's one of the YouTubers that showed us that sitcoms are dying. Let me explain. I'll explain everything in this video. Give you a rough draft of David and his life, because I'm not going to go like all throughout his life. I just want to talk about his business and how he did it. He was born in Slovenia, a city named Kosovce. It's close to the Hungarian border. Him and his family moved to the United States when he was only 5 years old. They moved to Barron Hills, Illinois, in Chicago. And I'm going to fast track his life because I'm just going to get straight to the point. David got famous off of Vine, the app we all know and love, and died very quickly. I personally never saw David on Vine. Vine was a very big app, and the only person that I could really think of on Vine is King Batch. No offense, David, but I was only seeing King Batch. That guy was king of Vine. I discovered David, like a lot of us, on YouTube, and I think that's where David really made his mark. I think David was like the king of YouTube for about a very long time. Like, he was literally like everywhere. He was giving out Teslas. He was giving out so many cars to his friends. He had like everyone on his payroll. He had like so many sponsors. He had such cool shit happening to him. And I think that's when everyone, and including me, I discovered David. David was like a guy that like you could not get away from. He was like the most popular YouTuber at that time. Like even like the most like mundane, like casual viewer knew who David was. And that was actually like the coolest part about David. I think there were like a lot of key factors. I'm gonna like branch out and like talk about them. Key factor number one. David is the perfect parasocial friend. If you look up parasocial relationship on Google, that's exactly what David and a lot of public figures are. They're a person that you know very well. They've given you everything about them on the internet. They showed you every nook and cranny about their life. They showed you their friends, their family, everything. But you know way more about them than they know about you. So that's how it is. And that's basically what David is. David is like the perfect friend. He created everything for you. You know everything about Corinna, Natalie, Jack Whittick, Jonah, Jason Nash. You know everyone. You know who they are, where they eat, who they're dating, everything. And that's the crazy part about them. David gave you everything that you need to know. That's why I personally think that he killed a sitcom, because he gave you real, authentic people without having directors, producers, everyone around him telling him what to do. He was the only director producer. David is kind of like the Jerry Seinfeld of our generations in a weird way. I'm giving him a lot of comparisons, but David is Jerry Seinfeld of his vlogs because he focused all of his attention on his friends, and then he's behind the camera. Just like how Seinfeld did it on his show. He was on the show for sure, but he made his supporting characters way more interesting, authentic, and that he was just there. A little bit of insight on his show. Seinfeld was a horrible actor, and he was fully aware of that. So he made all the other actors be funnier and interesting, and he was just there being the straight man. And that is what made the show authentic and interesting, that he, a comedian that was on the road and being a stand-up comic for about 20 years or so, wanted actors to be way more funnier than he was, a stand-up comic. Kind of just shows you that you don't always have to be the star of the show. And finally, I would say the thing that actually cemented him changing and reinventing sitcoms is the fact that not only did he bring authentic, realistic people that were not actors or phony people or whatever, he reinvented the laugh track. If you have ever heard the laugh track on any sitcom, you know what I'm talking about. But he reinvented it by actually showing you the laugh track. Instead of you just hearing it, he showed it to you. His friends were laughing at his jokes. So not only are they part of the joke, they're with the joke and they're laughing at the joke. So now everyone's having fun. You feel like you're part of the show, and now you could laugh with them while they're laughing at the joke. So now it's all in the spectrum of like everyone's having fun. you're having fun, and it makes you want to continue to watch the show as a viewer, because now you feel like you're part of the show, because you're laughing, they're laughing, and we're all laughing as the show progresses. Key factor number 2, David has the Molly Ringwald effect. I know I'm giving him like a lot of characters, but stay with me. This is the one that I'm actually sticking up to. If you've ever watched any of the 80s movies back in the day, directed or created by John Hughes, Breakfast Club, 16 Candles, Pretty in Pink, Weird Science, David has the Molly Ringwald effect. Molly Ringwald was one of the main actors in a lot of the movies that I named, but he has that effect. If you've ever seen Molly Ringwald in any of those movies, you could actually feel that she was in your high school. She was one of your friends. You could actually picture her being close to your locker and saying hello. She has that effect. David has that effect on everyone. When you're watching it, you could actually think or feel or believe that he is your friend. He could be a person in your life that you could see at a party and you could hang out with. That's how realistic he is and like approachable he is. David isn't like a good-looking, chiseled Calvin Klein model. David just looks normal. David has a Molly Ringwald look. Just a normal, relatable, authentic type of person. He isn't like all the other people in Hollywood where you could just be like, I don't think I could be friends with you. I don't even think I could come close to you, because I feel like everyone will just say like, you're not worthy to talk to this person. But David has that approachability. That's why I feel like he soared so high, because people could relate to him. They could be like, I could actually be friends with this person. Not like all these other like movie stars or like certain like lead women that are in movies nowadays that you're like, I don't really believe that you could be part of this world. It doesn't look realistic at all. But she was like the most realistic leading woman that I've ever seen in a teen movie. That's why like I kind of feel like David kind of has that. David feels so relatable and like realistic, and I'm fully aware that like his looks and relatability and charisma actually brought him to what he has right now. His charisma was the thing that sold us, made us think that he is this guy, made us think that he was like this good guy, the Mr. Rogers of YouTube, or whatever you want to call him, or the Ellen of YouTube, if people want to say that now. Key factor number 3, and it's probably the most important thing about David definitely changed vlogs, for sure. He changed the game of YouTube 100%. And I know I said that he changed the game for sitcoms, but he is not really in like network TV. He's not part of NBC or CBS or anything like that, but he is part of YouTube, and at least you could change the game of YouTube, and he did do that for sure. He is kind of like Steph Curry, and I promise this is my last comparison, I swear to God, but he is kind of like Steph Curry. Steph Curry came into the NBA, he changed the game of basketball, now everyone's copying him. Same thing like David Dobrik. David came out with his vlogs, and now you could kind of see he has like little babies running around, and they kind of have like their own distinct way of copying David. Certain people want to be like David, and certain people even do their like YouTube videos just like David. Like it's just like a copy paste thing, and a lot of people are inspired by him, and they want to work with him, and they want to do stuff with him. And there's nothing against David for doing that, but it just kind of shows you that like David's pull was so far and wide. It was incredible. The stuff that David was doing was what people wanted to do, and he was changing the game of YouTube for sure. You have to think about it like this. When vlogs were coming out for the first time, they were just like a person waking up, getting ready, going to work, or just going out and seeing their friends. They weren't really doing anything. So it was kind of like mundane and boring. And David was kind of like, okay, how do I change that? How do I put these scenarios and make them interesting? If you look at all of his vlogs, they aren't like going in one direction. They aren't going in like a straight, narrow line. They're all going in random, crazy scenarios that all of his friends are part of. And he is too. But if you think about it, it's not like a vlog. It's kind of like a collage of mayhem and chaos and fun. And I think that's what you need to actually stick out and be interesting. If you're just doing the same thing like everyone else, then no one's going to pay attention to you. He looked at the vlog spectrum and was like, how do I make this more interesting and more engaging and stick out like a sore thumb instead of being like everyone else? And I think that's the greatest part about him doing that, because thanks to him, now we have Alex Warren, Bryce Hall, and all these other guys that are kind of following the same methods that he's doing. And now with his help, he could actually grow and make the better generation of YouTubers actually be more innovative, think outside the box. I think this is a good thing for smaller creators as well, like me and everyone else. If you think about it, if you're making your channel for the first time, if you're making your videos for the first time, you want to stick out, you want to do something, and he's actually showing you that you should be doing that instead of being like everyone else and just sticking to the script. If you are actually going against the grain, people are gonna focus on you, and that's the coolest thing about David. And that's my final thoughts about David. And yeah, if you like the video, like and subscribe, hit the bell on icon, give a thumbs up, and I'll see you guys later.